And the card of the day is hey there. So I'm starting these oracle card for a day video series, and this is first video, which is basically kind of like an intro video. Now, I've seen around in YouTube people doing these readings, like weekly oracle card reading, weekly angel reading, weekly angel messages, weekly tarot reading, weekly astrology reading, and I'm sure there are more of that type of readings. I used to do them myself for a little while. It was a while back. But I thought I would do something different. And I would do a card a day for a while. I don't know for how long yet, but this is the beginning of it, so we'll see how it goes, I think. And so what I thought I would do, I'll pull a card the beginning of the day and give the interpretation of the card, the message of the card, depending on what the card is about and what the message is about, and give you a little bit of idea also how to interpret the card if you were to do these readings or pull a card a day for yourself. If you are familiar with oracle cards, tarot cards, any type of that kind of cards, then you probably know how it works. If you are not familiar, these videos are going to be good for giving you an idea how it works. I thought also that I would include some of my personal experience of how does that card, the message of the card, applies to me personally, because when I pull the card for these video purposes, the message is not just for people watching. The message applies to me as well, and I thought it would probably be helpful in certain situations, certain messages, to share a real life example of how does the meaning, the message of the card applies to my day. Yeah, and hopefully that gives also you better understanding of how to, what to maybe look for in your day, in your situation, how to apply the message to your situation, what to look for. It's kind of hard to tell what exactly it's gonna help you with, but I think it will help. That's my theory. So yeah, and today's card is, I used this card deck, The Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reid. I absolutely love this card deck. This is one of my favorites. And yeah, so check this out. The back of the cards looks like this. And now look at this card. I have noticed that a lot of card decks have one card in the deck that is either, the image of the card is either the cover of the card deck, either exact cover of the card deck, or similar or almost exact as the cover, or either exact or almost exact image as the back of the whole card deck, like in this case. And for some reason, I have not heard of it anywhere before. I have not read about it anywhere before. But for some reason, I have always, always, always felt like if the card that has this image that is somewhere else in a card deck that gets pulled, then the message of that card kind of applies to our life, our experience of mine, or if I am pulling card for someone else, then for them, kind of double, like it's like a double strong message. It could be just me, but that's how I look at these cards. And most of the card decks also have like a little tiny magical book that has a longer message description of each card. And so compass. Now, some card decks have the meaning for the card if card gets pulled upside down. Some card decks don't. This particular card deck has a meaning for the card if it's pulled upside down. I pulled it upside down, so this is basically how it came out. Now, the general meaning of this card is, well, it says is, as long as you orient your compass to true north, the direction of your higher power, you will never be lost. Basically is saying that if you take action based on what feels right, based on your gut feeling, based on what feels good, and sometimes what feels right thing to do in some situations is not necessarily the easy thing to do, but I have found that we often, if not always, we already know or have had this feeling of what to do, what would be the right action to take in certain situations. So this card basically says that if you do that, then you cannot go wrong. You can just not go wrong, even if it might seem at first that things get worse. If you follow what feels right to do, then eventually you'll see how it was the right thing to do. So upside down, this card, let me read. What is your higher power right now? Whatever you constantly focus on long enough becomes your higher power. If you worry about financial insecurity, materialism is your idol. If you obsess over a relationship, that is your god. If you're concerned about your weight or your looks or your status, you've lost your personal power and your way. Nothing but spirit can be your guiding force. You'll never truly find what you seek if these worries and distractions are your constant focus. Surrender and shift your compass. Be still and watch as the needle points to true north. Align yourself and you'll easily find your way back to where you are meant to be. So what it basically says is, well, it asks us to reevaluate what we focus on, what our main focus is, and make sure that we don't put worries as our main focus. I think here the explanation how it would apply, how I would interpret for myself in my present life, present situation would be, I mean, I could not have pulled the more perfect card for myself if I was just thinking about myself pulling cards, because right now I have this big worry. I have huge hospital bills, hospital surgery bills, and I've paid some off, some I'm paying. There's like several of them, and one is really big, and it's been worrying me a lot, especially these last days, weeks, and it's been very stressful for me. And this card basically has been telling me that it's not really gonna help. But this card is reminding me to kind of let go, like by surrendering, just surrender, let go of that worry, and remember what is it like, where you are going. Like, it's not just, life is not just about that worry. Life is bigger than that. And it's important, like this card is reminding me that it's important to remember that that worry situation, and like, it's just part of life. And the idea is, if we go deeper into this message, then when we align ourselves with that bigger, like, the goal, the direction we are going, then whatever worries us, whatever the cause, the reason for that worry and stress is, that it's just gonna fall into a place. We most often don't see how the worrisome situation is going to resolve, but if we focus, we keep our focus, like we go that direction that is feels right direction in life in general, then this is gonna sort itself out somehow. That's gonna, solution is going to come. That's basically it for today's message and card and how it works. And yeah, hopefully you found it somewhat helpful, and I am looking forward to these video series, these card for the day videos, and also looking forward to hear your comments, your questions, your input, like anything really. Comment below, and thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.